the introduction of DeFi into daily use is going to be insane. And
what is a meme coin?
Well, a meme coin is I was on a website where it allowed you to they'll have a property and you could buy tokens within that property. Again, the money is all right, originally what I came into this whole thing for is the money. I have it now.
Welcome back. This is the 4th episode of the CryptoNoobz Podcast. I am your host, Nelson Recardo.x.
And I'm your co-host, Lamont Astwood, aka Crypto Lambo.
And tonight we are talking about the different types of cryptocurrencies. So first and foremost, Lambo, Bitcoin has actually surpassed $100,000. Tell the fans, tell the people, what do you think about that?
Yeah, it's been a long time coming. That when it first pumped up during the election, I called it the Trump pump, and I think a lot of it has to do with just speculation on, with this new government. We have the Republicans who are in power now. As far as the United States, the Republicans in power now, and Donald Trump has been very pro crypto in his approach. So he used that to actually lock in a good segment of the population because he actually put people in positions now who will actually be able to regulate cryptocurrency more clearly. Hopefully, they'll be able to have clear regulations because one of the things if you notice with cryptocurrency is a lot of people who operate in the space, like business wise, they just want clearer they just want clear regulations. They just want to ensure that they're on the up and up. So that's just something that that's something that definitely added to the value increasing. And right now, a lot of people is a mixture of things, friendly government, FOMO, that's a huge part of it. And right now, a lot of people, and it's always this weird thing whenever crypto prices start going up, that more people, I start getting more phone calls and more messages about, oh, I trying to buy X, Y, and Z. And it's you realize, this ain't the time to buy. Like, you could ride a good wave, but this isn't really the time to buy. So you have a lot of those people also helping push the price up. But yeah, this is big news. This is big news. I didn't expect it to go to 100,000 until 2025. I thought it was gonna be a pullback, but yeah, definitely a burst past that barrier.
And the thing is, it's so amazing because I still remember here inside the Bahamas, where when FTX crashed, the Bahamian society felt the impact and the weight of that. And when the whole crypto industry went down for that period and the market was really bearish, I remember where, a lot of people have thought crypto had failed and that was the end of cryptocurrency as that was it. And then all of a sudden, Bitcoin, and the thing is, this was so crazy, right? Bitcoin at that time would have been about $16,000 when I had
Yeah.
checked. And to come from $16,000, I think that was about 2 or 3 years ago, to come back now to not only breaking the all-time high, but surpassing it and reaching the newest all-time high of $100,000. That's just crazy, and it really shows how impactful Bitcoin, especially, really is. But that actually segues into our topic today, which is the different types of cryptocurrencies. So tell me something let's just tell the viewers, what is Bitcoin and what is its relevance? Why does it matter to us?
Well, Bitcoin is a digital asset. Is the first real cryptocurrency. It's the first real cryptocurrency. It is obviously the largest valued one in terms of market cap, for sure, market cap and price. And it was originally created in 2009 by Satoshi Nakamoto. Now, when I say Satoshi Nakamoto, that's not a known individual. Um, some people, they don't know. Nobody knows who Satoshi Nakamoto is publicly. It could be an individual or it could be an entity like a group, and they just go under the pseudonym Satoshi Nakamoto. So it was created in 2009, and it was created really more so for transparent, but in a weird way, transparent and anonymous transactions. So all your transactions will go on a blockchain. It allowed for easier peer-to-peer lending without the use of a central authority. So really the premise of it and one of the ethos of Bitcoin was to remove the interference of banks and lending institutions with regards to money transfers. So that's really what Bitcoin was originally created for. And from that, it gave birth to several other coins. Um, would like had hard forks from Bitcoin, but then it just created a whole new thing where cryptocurrencies just started to become booming now. But Bitcoin was the original OG of the crypto space, and right now it's standing tall and shoulders above the others.
So maybe you could give me some context about this, right? So I was reading how Bitcoin, its use cases, its actual use cases, like of course it's a cryptocurrency, meaning that it's a currency that could be used inside of the digital space, right? But when we talk about Bitcoin specifically, the first cryptocurrency, I see some people say that they use it as somewhat of a store of value or an investment. Could you like just help to explain that a bit more? Like why should people actually invest in Bitcoin?
Yeah, like a lot of people when Bitcoin especially started picking up a lot of traction, a lot of people started to call it digital gold, like a digital version of gold, and which is actually quite interesting because the price appreciated much more than gold. Essentially, Bitcoin, there's a limited supply, it's 21 million. And when there's a limited supply of something, the more demand that goes into that thing, usually the price increases. So you have more people who are starting to know about Bitcoin, the use cases of Bitcoin, including like with transactions. And you have investors who are looking at this thing and like, if I put in an investment now, if I buy this whilst the price is at, I'm just throwing out an arbitrary number, 10,000. If they bought $1,000 worth of Bitcoin, when the price hit 100,000, they now have $10,000 worth of Bitcoin. So they saw it as a large investment opportunity due to the rising demand of it. Remember, there's a controlled supply. So when the supply is controlled, but the demand is higher, that gives rise to a higher price. So that's really one of the ways why you see a lot of people actually turn to investing in Bitcoin. And what you will notice is in like a lot of developing countries where investment assets like traditional stocks and bonds weren't available to the public, um, was at least like not as readily available to the public. You saw a lot of people turning to crypto to try to gain a ROI, try to get a return on their investments. Because let me tell you something, people want to invest. It's just that they need to find something to invest in. And Bitcoin and other cryptos started to pick up a lot of traction, and that started to be the easiest thing.
Especially what I'd like to add to that too is one of the things that I've been noticing a lot too is a lot of institutions and countries and different governments seem to be investing heavily into Bitcoin. Now we see BlackRock almost every day they're scooping
Yeah,
up Bitcoin and they're making these ETFs for their investors and things like that. And I feel as if at least the way that things are going, I feel as if now it's become almost a race, like a race, right?
yeah,
Where a lot of the 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 bigger banks and wealth management firms and all of that good stuff, and once again, governments seem to be trying to scoop up as much Bitcoin as possible. You know, but that brings me to another point, right? So Bitcoin isn't the only cryptocurrency.
no,
It
far
seems to
from it.
be it seems to be the most valuable, but it doesn't seem to be the only one. I know the second biggest cryptocurrency seems to be one that's called Ethereum. Could you
Yeah.
expand more on what is Ethereum and what's going on over there with that?
Yeah, Ethereum is basically used for the creation of decentralized apps, and it was used for like the execution of smart contracts. So it essentially um it was created in 2015, and yeah, it is the native token on it is Ethereum. Basically, the Ether network. Sorry, the Ether blockchain network, and the native token is Ethereum. So it allowed for the execution of smart contracts, and it allowed users on it to do more things as far as like the blockchain space, like I mentioned earlier with decentralized apps, and allow them to transfer funds, all that more efficiently. Because what you gotta understand, like a lot of these different um tokens, sorry, these different blockchains and tokens and cryptos that were created, what they did is they took a lot of the shortcomings of Bitcoin. So it might have been like a speed issue or something like that, and they essentially just expanded upon it. So they would take like all the weaknesses of Bitcoin, try to patch it up and launch it as their own thing. And when you look at the history of crypto, really, I would say is three juggernauts, and not necessarily as far as like market cap, but when I was thinking about it today, I was like, it's Bitcoin, Ethereum, then believe it or not, is Doge. Like,
Doge,
yeah,
oh dog.
yeah, because when you think about it, right, even though it might not have the third highest market cap, I think that's USDT. Um, and we're gonna probably touch on that as well. Everyone who I know who don't really know about cryptos be asking me about Doge because Doge has a lot of hype behind it. Doge has a ton of hype behind it. Then it'll probably like everyone know like all right, it's cost pennies. And Doge is set up in such a way where if it jumps from 10 cents to 20 cents, you could turn your $1,000 or $100 into 200 or $2,000. You could double your money. So that's why I think like, and you have the old Elon Musk. He skyrocketed that. That's like his
Yeah.
like, yeah, he pretty much brought that to the forefront. But a lot of people actually talk about Doge, and that's one to me. That's probably the most influential or the most well-known meme going out there.
So one of the things I want to know is like, why not XRP?
Well, XRP that's more so like involved in sorry, that more so involved in like banking and all that, banking transactions. But a lot of it with Dogecoin, you see, is like a lot of memes. A lot of it is based on like social media and all that. Like I used to tell people, XRP is a real company. Like they're actually doing real stuff.
Uh,
Then they had the whole issue that was going back and forth with the SEC out of the I
KRAPC.
forgot. Yeah. So that was like a whole thing with that. Um, a lot of people, made a speculative bet on that. I actually invested on that because I just felt that they were going to win. Um, but a lot of like the meme coins, like Dogecoin, is just that. If you're scrolling social media, that's what you see guys talk about. That's what you see guys make memes about. That's what you see guys joke about. So it starts to become like almost embedded in your head, like this thing exists. This
So
thing actually exists and it's out there.
so one of the questions I definitely want to ask, just to make sure that there's clarification for the viewers, right? What
Yeah.
is a meme coin?
Well, a meme coin is a crypto coin or token that essentially is created based on, I like to say, novelty or a joke. Like, it doesn't really supposed to have utility. Like, unless you're talking about a meme coin that's created for a specific game or app or whatever, it pretty much has no utility, no use case. It's heavily driven by community. So when you look at like a lot of Ether, it runs on the Ethereum network, which helps in the creation of decentralized apps. They actually do something. And you have XRP, which facilitates transactions, stuff like that. And they work with banks and all that. But then you have meme coins are just almost jokes. It's almost like if something is just catchy, you can make a meme coin. You have a Hawk Tour girl, even though that's a whole situation now where she's being called a scammer. And I don't know her personally,
uh,
right? I don't know her personally, obviously. Um, but part of me is just like, I think she just got in over her head. I think someone just reached out and say, "Hey, we're going to use your fame to make this coin," and they might have did something. Then again, I might just be giving her too much of a benefit of a doubt. But yeah, buying that is based on a meme. That's a meme token, right? Dogecoin is a meme token. Dogecoin does nothing. Dogecoin doesn't create anything. The Dogecoin company is not creating anything in the real world. All right. They did not use that money to fund some sort of initiative to create nothing, no computers or sell nothing of significance. It was literally a joke. That was the whole premise of it, a joke. So that's most memes. It's just jokes. It's just hey, this is a catchy joke that's going on at this time. Like you can make a coin out of anything. Like the bar to entry is very low. When Will Smith slapped Chris Rock at the Grammys or whatever, they had a Will Smith token the next day. Basically
Just
making a joke out of that. Like
just like that.
it's just a meme. It doesn't have no real use cases.
Hmm.
99% of the time doesn't have a real use case. But
So one of the
it's
thing one of the things I want to make sure that the audience knows is that meme coins generally have no use cases at all. Like they are literally just there to be there. However, because there are sometimes demand for the meme coins, the price does go up. Meme coins are usually highly speculative, and they usually would be the ones that could go up really fast, but they could also drop really fast. I realize that when you're playing with meme coins, you're usually playing a very risky game. But
yeah.
one of the things I could definitely say is that I've seen some good use cases sometimes. But that brings me to another question, right? So we talk about meme coins that really have no inherent value, right? But let's talk a bit about stable coins.
Yeah. All right. So remember the example I brought up with the crypto with the third largest market cap, I think is USDT. Don't quote me on that. Um, Stable coins are usually just used as a store of value or like a peg to is usually pegged to a fiat currency. So in this case, let's talk about we use the dollar, right?
Mhm.
Let's reference USDT. They would have crypto that's basically 1 to 1 with the US dollar. So if you invest $1,000 into it, um, you can come back next year as long as nothing crazy happens, like nothing like what happened with Luna or whatever happened. If you come back next year, you're gonna have $1. You might have $1 0.0001 penny or 0.9999, but it's gonna be the same. You're gonna have a dollar for each dollar you invested. It's just designed to keep that as a peg of value. It's just to be pegged to the dollar. And it's good for like if you're expecting a market downturn, if you could just basically transfer all your crypto into USDT or stable coin. So when the general market decreases, the stable coin remains the same. So if you have $1,000 portfolio, instead of your $1,000 portfolio going down to $700, if you transfer it over everything into stable coins, it would stay at $1,000. Now keep in mind, if you transfer over everything, if instead of that $1,000 going up to 1,500, that's going to stay at $1,000. So it's just really just a store of value without really appreciation of value.
So, and just to break it down a bit further for the audience, so stable coin is just a coin that is pegged 1 to 1 with the dollar, meaning that it doesn't really go up and down much, but
No.
basically you're just able to use it as a store of value for the dollar, and that's using stable coins. You could also transact with other people, with currency that's close to the regular dollar as well. So
Yeah,
that's one of the things that's really interesting about stable coins. You
yeah.
see that,
If you see the stable coin going down, that's really, really, really bad news. That happened
well,
to I think UST with Luna. Yeah, that went down to like what pennies. That was insane. That was insane.
listen, and the thing is, what we've learned is that there's so many use cases for cryptocurrencies. Like one of the use cases I saw a drink company, some sort of a beverage company. I think its name is Drink, right? And what they did is they created a cryptocurrency for their drink brand called Drink, right? So what you're able to do with this cryptocurrencies, its use is almost like tokens. I don't know if you've ever used like Audible. Audible would give you certain tokens each
Yeah,
month,
credits. Yeah,
credits. So
yeah,
credits each month so that you're able to go and purchase a book or something like that, right? So
yeah.
this drink would actually be something used just like those credits where if you actually collect enough, you are able to buy the drink for free or you're able to get certain merchandise or something like that. So it just shows how different cryptocurrencies could possibly be used. So my next question to you would be like what are some of the different use cases that you see in some of the cryptocurrencies that you have personally studied?
Um, well, definitely as far as some of the cryptocurrencies, mainly the main one it'll be transactionary, and just for executing transactions, as well as investment for an investment basis. What is actually quite interesting, what you seeing with some, like especially in the NFT case, in the NFT space and all that, you will see people are using games and they'll say like, okay, if you have X amount of tokens, you can trade this on this particular game. Like like how when you used to play Pokemon, like you had like Poke Dollars
Hmm.
and all that, something like that. What I find really interesting, like you could use those tokens within that particular ecosystem, and to me, that's like a lot of people get it wrong, but I think whoever is going to get it right, I think the companies that are going to get it right is going to do exceptionally well in the future. So really is transactions. That's one of the main things you will use crypto for, and that's one of the main things. I personally believe that crypto has the edge over a lot of traditional forms of money because there were plenty times where I had to transfer funds to someone. Like it was almost like an emergency, and I bank with one bank and they bank with another bank. And let's say it's the weekend. If I'm trying to send them money, they're not going to get that until that Monday. But
Hmm.
they might have to do something that day, that Saturday or that Sunday. So the thing is with crypto, you send that money, that's almost an instantaneous transaction. And I think stuff like that, like just the transaction basis alone on that is going to be incredibly safe. I think the introduction of DeFi into daily use is going to be insane. And another interesting thing, and I don't mean to ramble, another interesting thing what I've seen with like tokens is and like ownership is really quite interesting because I was on a website where it allowed you to like they'll have a property and you could buy like tokens within that property. So it's almost like you're buying a share of the property. So the rent that comes from the property, they'll distribute it to all token holders. And if you have a certain amount of tokens, you get less. I'm just going to throw it arbitrary number. Let's say you have um 1,000 tokens and you get a penny per token. So that's what, $100. If my math is correct.
Hmm.
Well, I get in the fog. That's why I say AI is making us dumb. Yeah,
Yeah.
AI is making that's like $10.
AI.
Yeah, I think that's like $10. Yeah, so
ChatGPT.
yeah, but yeah, so
ChatGPT.
it basically works like that. Like how many tokens you have, you're entitled to a certain portion of the income from this property. And
Mm.
something like that, I think, is really interesting because it means that you don't have to buy the whole property yourself. You could do, if you want to start again investing in real estate, that's something you could pick up with a smaller investment and work your way up and get your feet wet.
So tokens for shares. So tokens would act as so the more tokens that you have a part of this particular asset, the more it would carry on as if it's more like shares. All right. It's
Yeah.
wonderful.
And the same thing with you said with like the train company, because what you will have sometimes to what actually I think actually kind of makes sense. If you have a business idea and you don't want to take out a enormous loan to carry out the idea, that's why you draft a white paper if it makes sense. And if you could get it out there, you could get in the right influencer and you could get Jake Paul to talk about it. You could raise funds to execute on that business. Now the problem is a lot of guys, they come with the idea, they put together a website, they made the money, then they dip. Because a lot of guys, when they get the money, it's like, all right, originally what I came into this whole thing for is the money. I have it now. And I could just make up a bogus excuse as to why we're not executing on our milestones. But yeah, but that's a way how I think, like, especially like a lot of fundraising and crowdfunding, like I think it's going to change the way we crowdfund for companies. I think that's a really efficient way, because even when I talk to certain people, they have business ideas, like they don't have the money. It's like, this would be a great token, like if you could just turn this into a token and get it out there, get enough people to talk about it, and give people something for investing in it, either the appreciation of the token and they could sell it, or if there are certain if they hold a certain amount, get them certain discounts or stuff like that. All type of all listen, there's all type of things you could think of to do with thing to
Crypto
do with
Lambo
crypto.
coin.
Crypto
Crypto
Lambo
Lambo
coin.
coin. But
Trust me.
Lambo, thank you for all of your wisdom. Once again, it's been great. For the viewers, you can catch more of our conversations on our Facebook, on our Instagram at CryptoNoobz or CryptoNoobz edu. Follow us for more episodes as we continue to break down more about cryptocurrency, blockchain, and Web3. Any last words from you, Lambo?
Invest wisely, invest smartly. Don't let ChatGPT make you dumb. Um, what else? What else am
No
I gonna say?
financial. This is also
Yeah,
no
this is not
financial
financial
advice.
advice.
Make sure to do
Use
your
all the
own
money.
research.
Do not come back to me. I do not know anything about that. I don't know anything about crypto. I don't know anything about investing. Do not come back to me.
All right. You guys have a wonderful day.